Hello, everyone, and welcome. My name is Dornsuelo Wilkins McCory, and I am the supervisor of the Office of Gifted Education. As someone with a degree in gifted education, this topic is naturally close to my heart, but is even more personal for me because I am also a parent of two identified gifted children who successfully graduated from Chesapeake Public Schools. My lived experience has given me a unique perspective on the immense potential of gifted learners within our district and how we can best support their growth. We're here today to talk about gifted identification in Chesapeake Public Schools. Our goal is to inspire, engage, and empower all of our students, and that includes providing appropriate services for our gifted learners.
In Chesapeake Public Schools, we begin with universal screening for all students in grades K through 2. This means every student participates and parent permission isn't required for this initial screening. The screening tools we use are designed to help students show off their advanced creative thinking and analytical reasoning. Based on this data, we identify a candidate pool. Nationally, students identified as gifted usually score in the 90th percentile or above on these ability measures. Percentiles, by the way, indicate how a student compares to other students of the same age within 3 months. If your child is identified as a candidate, you all were notified. At that point, you gave permission to consider your child for formal identification and you completed a parent rating scale. The ability tests that were administered were the nonverbal Naglieri ability test and the cognitive abilities test. Ability tests only highlight some gifted characteristics. Therefore, portfolios were compiled to highlight additional gifted characteristics. When the Gifted Eligibility Committee made final identification decisions, they also considered input from the classroom teacher and, of course, from you, the parents, and any other supplemental data provided. Once the evaluation was completed, students received one of three statuses: eligible, monitor, or ineligible. Students found eligible for gifted services are placed in a gifted cluster classroom and receive support from their classroom teacher with additional help from a gifted specialist assigned to their school. Students given a monitor status have shown potential and were high achievers on one of the ability tests. These students have the opportunity to participate in a gifted cluster setting and to allow for a year's growth and revisit their eligibility the following spring. So what can you expect for your child's classroom placement? Both gifted and monitor students are placed in gifted cluster classrooms where a gifted specialist can provide support to the gifted cluster teacher. If your child was found ineligible, you do have the option to request retesting next school year. You can do this by visiting the Chesapeake Public Schools gifted webpage and completing a referral. Let's talk a bit more about the cluster model, which describes how our gifted and monitor students are placed in classes. Gifted programming primarily happens right in your child's home school, delivered by their classroom teacher. These gifted cluster teachers receive specialized professional development and ongoing in-person support from a gifted specialist. A gifted specialist is a valuable resource. They might provide resources, model lessons, coach teachers and students, or even co-teach with the classroom teacher. They also work in consultation with teachers to develop lessons that meet the needs of gifted learners. Each quarter, gifted and monitor students will receive a gifted progress report. This report will appear in Parent View, indicates how they are demonstrating critical thinking, creative thinking, collaboration, independent learning, and group skills. Now on to the curriculum, how we differentiate instruction for our gifted students. Instruction in gifted cluster classrooms is aligned with the Virginia Department of Education Standards of Learning, or SOLs. So for example, the core content for a fourth grade cluster class is the same as all the other fourth grade classes. However, the Office of Gifted Education provides specific instructional strategies to enhance creative and critical thinking for these students. Our approach focuses on using a central concept to connect content across different core subject areas. Cluster teachers receive coaching to use these specific strategies to differentiate and enrich the core curriculum. Some examples of these higher order thinking strategies And high-quality instructional materials include, but are not limited to, a raft, jigsaw, mind map, Socratic seminar, choice board, Scamper, Synectics, hexagonal thinking, Ataba sort, Kaplan's depth and complexity, and Jacob's ladder, M squared and M cubed materials, William and Mary units, Think Law, exemplars, hands-on equations, and those are just to highlight a few. We also provide services for students who are twice exceptional or 2E. These are students who are identified as gifted but also have a disability. For our twice exceptional learners, we implemented support for our 2E learners through a 2E gifted specialist whose primary goal is to focus and provide a strengths-based approach to attend to the giftedness first and then address any areas of growth. For students in the gifted cluster, the twice exceptional specialist consults with both the gifted specialist and the general education teacher to provide support. For students served outside the gifted cluster, such as inclusion or self-contained classroom, the twice exceptional specialist works with the special education teacher to support executive functioning skills. This might involve putting systems in place to help with organization, materials, management, time management, and self-management. They also tailor support for case managers and students to develop systems that address their areas needing growth. Finally, let's look at some next steps and opportunities for continued growth.
We have a Gifted Education Advisory Committee that plays a crucial role in the Gifted program and aligns with Chesapeake Public Schools Goal 5, which focuses on community partnerships, to advise the school board on the educational needs of gifted students and to review the implementation of the local plan for gifted education. They will be meeting in October, November, February, and May to learn more about gifted students and advocate for services. If you are interested in those meetings, please feel free to reach out and contact the Office of Gifted Education. Thank you for joining us today. We hope this presentation has been informative and helpful. If you have any additional questions, please reach out to your gifted specialist assigned to your child's school. Contact information may be found on your child's school's website. Stay tuned for more program updates that will be coming in the fall.